What makes a car feel alive? This rock, this lump of stone, it's not alive. It doesn't breathe, think, or make decisions. It simply exists. But here's the weird thing, neither does this car. And yet, when you drive it, it feels alive. Not just as a machine, but as something with personality, character, maybe even a soul. I've experienced this strange connection firsthand. My first car was a 1987 BMW E30, and let me tell you, we had our own little language. The ventilator? It would only work if I switched it to second speed and then back to first, a little ritual between us. And the dashboard? It would squeak every time it was about to rain. It wasn't just a squeak, it was like the car was warning me, telling me, hey, better grab that umbrella. And when friends would drive it, I'd give them a list: be gentle with the second gear, don't worry about the chirping noises when the tach hits 5,000 RPM, it's just the car being happy. They looked at me like I was nuts. But you know what? Any old car owner gets it. These aren't flaws, they are personality traits. So, why do we feel this way about hunks of metal and rubber? Better question, what makes anything feel alive in the first place? Is it the ability to move, think, or feel? Or is it something more? We surround ourselves with things that are not alive: your phone, your chair, the rock in the backyard, but sometimes, those dead things feel alive, and nowhere is that feeling stronger than with old cars. At least to us enthusiasts. But why? What is it about these old machines that make us feel like they're living and breathing? You see, the human brain is a pattern-detecting machine. Every second of the day, it's scanning the world around you for signs of life. Why? Because for most of human history, detecting life meant the difference between surviving or being hunted. It wasn't just about avoiding the things that could kill us, it was about finding the things that could feed us. We've gotten so good at recognizing patterns and life that we start seeing it everywhere, even where it doesn't exist. We see faces in the clouds, we see shapes in the stars, we feel like the rocks are watching us. But in 1944, psychologists Hyder and Simmel conducted a simple experiment. They showed people a video of geometric shapes moving around the screen: a circle, a square, and some triangles. But guess what? People didn't see shapes, they saw characters. They saw stories, emotions, even motivations. And these were just shapes moving on a screen. But our brains, which are wired to detect life, couldn't help but create a narrative. This is what's called unimage perception, our tendency to attribute life and intention to things that don't have it. And it's not just a quirk of human psychology, it's how we make sense of the world. Our brains are constantly trying to understand what's going on around us, and sometimes, that includes machines. Like our cars. But here's where it gets really interesting. What if I told you that your brain isn't just being fooled when it sees personality in your old car? What if it's recognizing something real? It's not just a trick of the mind. There's something more going on here. The effort heuristic, why we value imperfection. There's a psychological principle called the effort heuristic, which suggests that we value things more when we can see the effort that went into making them. Think about it. You might connect more with a handmade ceramic bowl than a perfect machine-made one, right? Or a computer-generated painting versus one made with real brush strokes. That's the effort heuristic in action. It's the same with cars. Modern cars are engineered to remove effort. They're optimized, controlled by computers, smoothed out to be as perfect as possible. But older cars? They make you work for it. The door has to be closed just right. The engine needs a specific sequence to start, like a secret handshake between you and the car. The gearbox might feel a little stiff until it warms up, almost like it needs a cup of coffee before it can get going. These aren't bugs, they are features. Every time you interact with these imperfections, you're not just operating a machine, you're having a conversation. And that conversation? It's part of what makes driving an old car feel alive. You see, when we engage with these flaws, our brains don't just register them as problems, we connect with them. Every little quirk feels like a conversation between you and the car, a talk back and forth that makes you feel more in tune with the machine. But if flaws make things feel more alive, why do we keep trying to make everything perfect? And what happens when we remove all the imperfections? Let's explore that. Speed, perception, and the loss of connection. Let's play a little game. I'll show you two driving experiences, one in a modern car, and one in an old car. Which one feels more alive to you? If you pick the modern one, congratulations. Your brain is lying to you. But here's the thing, it's lying in the most beautiful way possible. Let me explain. Speed isn't just about the numbers on the speedometer. It's about how your senses interpret motion. Consider this, astronauts orbiting the Earth at about 27,000 kilometers per hour. That's fast enough to circle the planet in 90 minutes. But do they feel fast? Nope. In fact, they don't feel like they're moving at all. Why? Because there's no reference point. Without vibration, without sound, speed becomes meaningless. Now, in an old car, every bump, every vibration, every sound triggers thousands of neurons in your brain. You feel every detail of the road. And guess what? That's how we process the world. That feeling of motion, the physical feedback, is how we interpret life. Modern cars, though? They filter out all of that. They isolate you from the world around you to make things smooth and seamless. But here's the problem. In making cars perfect, in making them faster, smoother, and more isolated, we've lost the very thing that made driving exciting in the first place. Those imperfections, those little quirks in an old car, are exactly what made the experience feel alive. It's not just about speed, it's about feeling the road, feeling the connection between you and the machine. So, in our quest to make cars faster, smoother, and more efficient, have we lost something important? Have we removed the very imperfections that made driving exciting? The answer, unfortunately, is yes. Modern cars are better in so many ways, but they lack that raw, visceral connection to the road. The push for artificial personality. But here's the interesting part. Car manufacturers have started to notice this disconnect. That's why we're starting to see them try to artificially inject personality back into their vehicles. Take BMW's iVision D concept car, for example. The D stands for Digital Emotional Experience. Sounds fancy, right? It's a car with a personality, expressive headlights, a voice, even a sense of humor. It can change colors, wink at you, and tries to forge a bond through interaction. The problem? It feels like a gimmick. It's so clearly trying to be futuristic that it ends up feeling ridiculous. BMW even made a commercial with Arnold Schwarzenegger talking about how cars need personality. But here's the kicker, can a car that's programmed to act alive actually feel alive? It's like putting a smiley face on a robot and expecting it to be your friend. It's a trick. It's a manufactured personality that lacks the soul of an old car. This brings us to something crucial. Are these attempts at injecting personality into modern cars just clever tricks, or are they desperate attempts to fill a void we don't fully understand? And more importantly, do they work? Does this new personality resonate with us, or does it just feel forced? Are old cars better? Here's the paradox. Old cars, were they objectively better? No. In almost every measurable way, old cars were worse. Slower, less efficient, more polluting, less reliable, more dangerous. But here's the thing, those imperfections? They weren't just problems. They were raw material for something more human. Something that's harder to define but impossible to ignore, a connection. A bond. A soul. When you drive an old car, you're not just driving a machine. You're engaging with something that has a personality, a history, a life of its own. And here's the best part, the connection is yours to master. We don't just like things with a soul, we crave mastery. That's why we're drawn to things like playing instruments, perfecting a craft, or learning how to downshift perfectly on a tight corner. The reward isn't just in the achievement, it's in the journey. The beauty of now, a new era of driving. But let's be real. We spend so much time looking backward, thinking that the past was better, that we forget how great it is to live in the now. We don't have to choose between comfort and excitement anymore. We don't have to decide between practicality and passion. Today, we can have both. Classic cars are full of personality, but let's face it, that personality can be exhausting. That's why I couldn't keep my E30 as a daily driver. The constant tinkering, the unpredictability, it wears you down. But here's the beauty of now, we don't have to settle. Want comfort? Go for a modern car. Want excitement? Jump into an old car. Today, we've got the best of both worlds. And that's the beauty of living in this moment. Final thought, the best of both worlds. The next time someone tells you, the good old days were better, just remember this, we're living in the best of both worlds. You can have the personality and quirks of an old car, or the smooth precision of a modern one. The choice is yours. And with that, I'll leave you with one question: what car makes you feel alive? And more importantly, what's the story that comes with it?